Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, and welcome to the Boardman Civic Association's 28th Annual Academic Achievement Banquet. I'm Mark Luke, a member of the Boardman Civic Association. We thank you for joining us this evening to celebrate the academic achievements of our Boardman resident students. We look forward to this evening for our presentation of students, our guest speaker, and our scholarship presentations. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and get started with our program this evening. Let's go ahead and thank the Holiday Inn and staff for that wonderful dinner we just had. We'd also like to thank Boardman Schools Television Network, who is here this evening filming this evening's proceeding and will air it on their television station as well as on their YouTube channels. And with us tonight representing BSTN is Coordinator Amy Radinovic, as well as student Brandon Jackson. Thank you. Some elected officials with us here this evening. Two of our township trustees are here tonight, Brad Calhoun and Larry Moliterno. Gentlemen. Also with us this evening is Mahoney County Auditor Ralph Meacham and Mahoney County Commissioner Carol Remedios Righetti. Also with us here tonight is Elaine Mancini. Elaine, would you stand briefly for us? Can we get you to stand? In 1990, Elaine Mancini, Judge Joseph Hauser, and Dr. Bob Johnson organized and led the effort to start this academic achievement banquet. And it's been continuing and flourishing for 28 years, and we thank you very much. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Boardman Civic Association President, Mr. George Ferris.
Thank you. Good evening. I wanted to introduce the other members of the Boardman Civic Association Board who are here or not tonight, even if they're not. So if you're here, just give me a wave or a look or something like that. Tonight, Stephanie Landers, the Vice President, Mark Luke, who you met already, Jeff Barone, Attorney Marty Bushy, Meg Harris, Karen McCullum, Kathy McNabb Welsh, who I don't think is here, Tim Saxon, there he is, Rick Schaefer, Dan Segul, I know is here, Joe Sylvester Jr., Tom Testa, and Kevin Willis. Just want to remind you that in September we have a candidates night. That's for the general election, candidate and issue night for a debate or at least a presentation. October 30th is our business mixer. Now, but Boardman Civic Association, what do we do? Well, a grand statement there, making Boardman better, but that's our focus. And the way we try to do it is by promoting pride in Boardman Township, having events like this where we get together and really recognize excellence. And that's really what tonight's about, is recognizing excellence. And it's recognizing academic excellence. Why is that important? Well, just from my simple-minded approach, I look at it like this. America is ranked 17th in the world in education, 17th. Okay, yet, let's take a look at the Olympics. America's always the top medal winner. We're number one in the summer, usually third or fourth in the winter if we have a bad year. Our priorities need to be adjusted. How many jobs is a long jumper going to produce? And what kind of medicine or breakthrough is somebody throwing the discus going to do? Not to downplay athletics, they're great. Where's our priorities? Our priorities for the future, if we want to make America great again, is not in just focusing on what's flashy. It's focusing on what's important in education, and I'm not pitching the levy, although I do endorse it, okay? But we have to have our priorities straight, and we have to recognize what's important. And the academic achievement of these kids is spectacular. It's incredible. All of you deserve this accolade and more, believe me. And with these kind of kids leading our nation, I have no doubt it's going to be great. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, George. It's our pleasure at this time to bestow the Boardman Civic Association Lifetime Achievement Award to Kim Poma. Kim grew up in Poland, Ohio, graduate of Poland High School and Youngstown State University with a degree in industrial engineering. She married her husband Jim in 1980. They moved to Boardman in 1985. Kim and her late husband Jim owned and successfully operated Grafe Windows, Poma Glass, and Lazart companies. A household hobby of raising and boarding quarter horses led to Kim's daughter Ivy being an accomplished rider and to Kim's current position as a State of Ohio racing inspector, covering Mahoning Valley and Thistledown racetracks. The Boardman School PTA was very important to Kim. She was a member for 16 years, chairing many committees and serving as president. She took her involvement seriously. She often attended school board meetings as a requirement of the PTA presidents to attend. She developed a good working relationship with the school administrators over the years. She thought that running for school board was the next step in community service. Kim always self-funded her campaigns as she did not want to be beholden to anyone or any interest. She served as an elected school board member for 16 years. One of the many things she enjoyed about serving was the teamwork and accomplishing great things for the community. She would say that even though we would disagree occasionally, we never became disagreeable on the school board. Her tenure with both the PTA and school boards were a labor of love and a passion for Kim. During her tenure of work with the Boardman schools, the district maintained academic excellence and fiscal responsibility. Of course, Kim would be the first to credit the Boardman taxpayers, families, students, and school staff for that continued excellent performance. She was quoted as saying, "The one thing I will miss the most is the look on every student's face when they walk up to receive their diploma." She has a son, Jonathan, who's married to Whitney, and they have a daughter, Mary Kate, and live in Columbus. A daughter, Ivy, also a Boardman graduate, and a graduate of Gannon University, lives in Columbus as well. Kim is an annual scholarship supporter of this event and supports many other local charitable events and endeavors, humbly and many times quietly. It's with appreciation, thankfulness, and respect that the Boardman Civic Association presents its Lifetime Achievement Award to Kim Poma. Kim?
Look how pretty. I don't know where I'm going to put it. Well, I have to thank you all, of course, for this tremendous recognition. And frankly, you know, I'm totally overwhelmed and pretty unworthy. I mean, really, look around this room. Who am I to be recognized for any kind of achievement in the likes of these? These people are pretty amazing. I'm here with a good friend tonight who told me proudly once that he made a speech without a single note. I'm sure he was intelligent, funny, interesting, all in the same speech, and I'm sorry I can't live up to that. The notes are here. So I spent some time reflecting on this past few weeks in Boardman, and I can proudly say that while living here, I've had the opportunity to hear an amazing performance of our local school's rock orchestra. I've enjoyed coffees, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and frankly, an adult beverage or so at a number of thriving local establishments. I've driven past the new and beautiful fire station and imagine it to soon be the centerpiece of our community. I've spent time in our fine local medical facilities and witnessed some of the saddest moments, I was going to do this, and some of the most joyful moments that life has to offer, but always with comfort in knowing that those I love have been well cared for there. I attended a gathering of upwards of 1,500 or 1,700 concerned citizens wanting to know as much as they can about the financial situation that challenges our remarkable schools. And then, in turn, I've driven down some side roads teeming with signs of support in anticipation of the May primary. As much as I don't enjoy really seeing police cars behind me, though I guarantee you I'm innocent, I have taken comfort in hearing the sirens, sometimes flying down my street truly in the middle of the night, knowing that those behind the wheel are risking life and limb to keep us all safe. I've spent precious time with my own children who are now young, successful adults living life to the fullest, largely because of their education and upbringing in this fine community. I've participated in baby showers and birthday parties in our incomparable and beautiful Boardman Park, with gifts in tow for them that I picked up at one of many local retail spots. And now I'm encouraged by the peak of crocus and daffodils in many front yards along the way and the chirps of birds ahead that another nice summer is laying ahead for us. That said, all of those things, I'm proud to be a Boardman resident. I chose this town in which to live and raise my family. I've had the absolute privilege of being allowed, even encouraged, to be involved, whether by a raised hand of volunteering, a recommendation from a peer, or a vote of the public, with the hope of keeping Boardman the town I know and want it to continue to be. So real quick, and sorry to go on, but from their own website, the Boardman Civic Association's goal is to support positive growth, pride, and development in Boardman Township. To do so, this organization hosts public forums where important issues may be presented, studied, and questioned, allowing us all to be better informed citizens. It encourages public recognition of excellence in civic, business, scholastic, and individual endeavors, because we all need strokes now and then to make sure that what we're doing is worthwhile. And it provides opportunities for fellowship, communication between business and civic leaders, which is so important, and friends are easily made in this town. You people here, the grown-up ones, are committed to accomplishing this goal of the Boardman Civics, and you do so tirelessly and with passion. I look at all your faces out there. I'm honored that you might even think of pegging me to have achieved only a fraction of what so many of you have already achieved. And I'm grateful for your commitment, because if we take a minute to see what we have right here in our own backyards and appreciate it for its completeness and simplicity and constancy, we will know that our efforts are all worth it. I've stood side by side with so many of you with high hopes and values and drive for this community, and I applaud all of you. And I'm honored to be in the same room with Coach Tressel, who models integrity and love of community in ways most of us can't even imagine. He did so as a Boardman resident. He took that desire for the best with him to Columbus and is now making such a difference at the university, in the city, and in this greater Mahoning Valley. I'm humbled to share a podium with you this evening. And almost done. I do have a word for all of you kids out there. Elaine Mancini and I talked in the food line how we kind of forget why we got involved in this, so many of us in the schools in the first place, and now we see you and we remember why. You inspire us. I'm proud of all of you. You guys are about to enter the world to make an impact of your own. It's a pretty daunting task. Wherever you end up, whether it be back here in your hometown, on either coast of this country or somewhere in between, or abroad, please look for the same thing: a good place to call home, a great place to call home, and commit yourselves to getting involved in your own way to help keep it that way. It's so worth it for you and for the generations that come before you and after you. I thank you all. I'm really so honored, and I didn't need these.
Well, congratulations, Kim, and thank you for your kind words to us this evening as well. And just because that's a Lifetime Achievement Award doesn't mean you're done. Okay, you have a long life ahead of you, plenty of opportunities for community service going forward, yeah. But congratulations. Well, now we have our presentation of students. So we ask that Meg Harris and Marty Bushy come forward to help us distribute these bags we have for the students. The criteria to be invited to this evening's dinner is to be a 2018 graduate, taking that on faith, to be a Boardman resident, and this year we are represented by Boardman, Cardinal Mooney, and Valley Christian High Schools, to have a 3.5 grade point average or above. This year, 124 students qualified to be invited. At this time, we'll have our presentation of students. As I read your name, please come forward to be recognized and accept a gift bag from the Boardman Civic Association, which does include a 2 gig flash drive, which we know you will use for academic purposes only. We understand that. I will do my best to pronounce your name. If I err or make a mistake, please correct me when you come forward. At the end of each school list, if your name is not read, please come forward and we will announce you. We ask you, the audience, to please hold your applause until the end of the student introductions. From Boardman High School, Annabelle Adkins, Carly Amendola, John Anzavino, Zunera Aslam, Callan Alizia, Isabel Beal, Allison Blackburn, Monica Brown, Mitchell Brunco, Mia Bruno, Miranda Canacci, Nicholas Carabello, Brandon Chamberlain, Ashley Clark, McKenna Connolly, Grace Capola, Annalisa Cordova, Michaela DeRamo, Amber Danks, Kaylee Davis, Avery Dunn, Tyler Engelman, Nick Fusey, Elena Fullerman, Logan Gabbert, Nadine Gabriel, Luke Hetzel, Aaron Higgins, Rachel Fritz, Emily Humphrey, Shiraz Khan, Kyle Kimmerer, Gianna Kosis, okay. Brian Cordubel, Cade Krebs, Reagan Lambert, Nicholas Lescola, Jacqueline Lee, Sandy Lee, Holden Lipke, Jennifer Liptak, Brianna Lytle, Jacob Mahood, Morgan Marshall, Megan McCollum, Mark Moradian, Matthew Moradian, Alexandra Morar, Shanza Munawar, Mazen Musle, Mariah Riccardi, Kate Ryan, Molly Slater, Rita Salaby, Robert Toth, Jared Wilson, Casey Zaitzu. Are there any other Boardman students here this evening we didn't recognize? Please come forward at this time. From Cardinal Mooney High School, Braden Bison. And from Valley Christian High School, Logan Schnabel. Are there any other students here this evening we did not recognize or I did not call out their name? Very good. Let's give a warm round of applause to these students. And thank you, Meg and Marty. Well, before we introduce our guest speaker this evening, I have some breaking news out of London, England. Not sure how many people saw this late breaking news this afternoon, but out of London, England, the Guinness World Records have recognized Youngstown State University as the title holder for the largest gathering of people dressed as penguins. In October, 972 students, alumni, and community members gathered in the Watson and Trestle training site to break the world record. The event celebrated YSU's 50th anniversary as a state university. So some very exciting news this afternoon. So our guest speaker is someone who really goes without needed of a recognition. As a matter of fact, when I gave him his name tag tonight, I said, you're probably the only person in the room that doesn't need this. You're free to wear it if you'd like to. But we will introduce him out of respect for our speaker, and we've been efforting for a few years to get you here tonight, Mr. Trestle, and we're so glad it worked out this year, so thank you. A native of Northeast Ohio, Jim Trestle graduated from Berea High School, earned a bachelor's degree in education from Baldwin Wallace College, and master's degree in education from the University of Akron. He also holds honorary degrees from YSU and Baldwin Wallace. He was an assistant football coach at The Ohio State University, Syracuse University, Miami University of Ohio, and the University of Akron. In all those coaching posts, he also taught in the classroom to remain engaged with the student body. He first came to Youngstown State University in 1986 as head football coach. Within 2 seasons, the Penguins were in the NCAA playoffs. He was named executive director of intercollegiate athletics in 1994. In his 15-year tenure as head coach at Youngstown State University, his teams amassed a record of 135, 52, and 2, a 72% winning percentage. Appeared in the playoffs 10 times and won 4 national championships. He departed YSU in 2001 to become head football coach at The Ohio State University. From 2001 to 2010, he guided the Buckeyes to the 2002 national championship, 6 Big Ten championships, 9 bowl appearances, 7 10-win seasons, and an 8-1 record against that team up north. His record at Ohio State was 94-21 and 82% winning percentage. He's published 2 books, The Winner's Manual for the Game of Life and Life Promises for Success. His lengthy list of awards include American Football Coaches Association National Coach of the Year 3 times, Eddie Robinson National Coach of the Year twice, Chevrolet National Coach of the Year 3 times, the Paul Bear Bryant National Coach of the Year in 2002, and the Sporting News National Coach of the Year in 2002 also. He was inducted in the National Football Foundation's College Football Hall of Fame and the Ohio State Athletics Hall of Fame. He entered the YSU Athletics Hall of Fame in 2013. In July 2014, Jim Trestle became the 9th president of Youngstown State University, has been moving the campus forward on many fronts, including increased enrollment, record fundraising, reconfiguring the executive leadership organization, froze tuition for 2 consecutive years, expanded its scholarship offerings, and increased private development of on-campus housing. In 2015, Ellen and Jim Trestle made a $1 million pledge, creating the Ellen and Jim Trestle Student Work Opportunity Endowment Fund. They also participated in the YSU campaigns for the Andrews Student Recreation and Wellness Center, expansion of Stambaugh Stadium, and the Watson and Trestle training site. In 2007, Frank and Norma Watson and Jim and Ellen Trestle donated a combined $1 million to the YSU Centennial Campaign to help fund the Watts Center. Along with his university fundraising, he has also been called upon to lead many campaigns for the entire community and its needs. Jim and Ellen are the proud parents of 4 accomplished adults, Zach, Carly, Eric, and Whitney. You can follow President Trestle on Twitter at @JimTrestle5, but you're number 1 to us. So President Trestle, we're delighted to have you here this evening to hear you speak.
Thanks so much, Mark, for that short introduction. Kim, congratulations, and thanks for all you've done for our community and for our region. And this is a special night for you and for everyone to let you know how much we appreciate you. And obviously to the students that are being recognized and parents and the faculty members and administration and all the people that have impacted these great students. It really reminds me as I just watch these students of the great things we have going on at Youngstown State University. It's so much fun just to see the energy that accomplished young people have, and to see the fact that sometimes we read the newspaper and sometimes we worry about this and that, and then you bump into students like this, or you bump into the students on our campus, and you say to yourself, you know what, we're going to be in good hands, we're going to be in good shape because of the kind of young people we have. And so on behalf of our entire community and obviously our Youngstown State University family, congratulations to the students for the work that you've done, for the recognition. That's quite a list of students with a 3.5 or better. I mean, that's extraordinary, and we're really very, very proud of all that you've done. They told me that including my introduction, I had 5 total minutes. So I'm down to about 1:30 here, so I'll try to keep in the rules of engagement here. But as I was thinking about the students, hearing their names and what they've accomplished and being recognized tonight, and obviously you already know that it takes a lot of hard work, because you've done that. You don't get a 3.5 at Boardman or Cardinal Mooney or Valley Christian if you don't work hard. It just isn't given to you. And you obviously already know that you have to refine those competencies. You have to grow in your intellect and your cognitive ability, and you have to keep getting better and better all the time, and obviously you know all of that. But I'd like to share with you real quickly what I think you'll need the rest of the way. And I think it's pretty simple. In fact, do any of you have a phone? Okay, if you have a phone, I'm sure there's a couple that have a phone. Okay, get your phone out and go to the notes. Okay, and I want you in your notes to put down 3, 2, 1. Okay, because I just want to give you 3 thoughts, and I guess while you're getting to that section, I can give my disclaimer. Nothing I say here this evening is necessarily the opinion of Youngstown State University. This is just my opinion. And here's my opinion of what I think you're going to need to do from this moment on as you go and try to realize those dreams, as you try to reach your potential, as you try to become the best you can be and be at these types of banquets on the next level. I just left our nursing research banquet, and I saw the research posters that our undergraduate and graduate nursing students have, and it's extraordinary the things that they're involved with. And just a couple nights ago, we were with some of our honors college folks, and they were celebrating the fact that this person's going to Yale for law school, this person's going to Johns Hopkins for med school, this person's going here and there, and all that they've accomplished. And we just got word the other day that Ashley Orr, who's a Rhodes Scholar of ours over in England right now, who's done this summer, just received a research fellowship at Carnegie Mellon from the National Science Foundation, which there aren't many of those. And so if with the ability you already have and the fact that you've already decided it takes hard work, here's 3 things that I think if you'll make sure you add to that, you're going to have those kinds of storybook things occur in your life. And so the reason I have 3, 2, 1 is I think all 3 of these are more important than the hard work and the talent and the intellect that you've already shown. Not that those aren't important. You wouldn't be here if those aren't important. But these 3 I think are even more important, and I'm going to give them to you in the order of kind of an ascending order, like what I think might be the 3rd most and then the 2nd most, but then the most important thing, in my opinion, you're going to need to do to reach your potential. So here's the 3rd most important in my mind. And I've come to this conclusion watching a number of people. One thing is, when you get old, you've had experience and you've seen a lot of extraordinary people. You've been around extraordinary groups. You've had a chance to interact with people who have done amazing things. I was just in Georgia over the weekend with a 3-star general, General Mary Ann Miller, the first female ever to be a 3-star general, and she's in charge of the entire Air Force Reserve Command, and we just had our 70th anniversary. The 9/10 up here is part of the Air Reserve Command, and you could just see she's extraordinary, and how she could climb that mountain and so forth. And so the people I've been around, what I've noticed is that they all have this. They all have curiosity. So put down on your number 3 in your notes, curiosity. I'm going to assume I don't have to spell it for any of this group, being the 3.5 group, okay? And I say that for this reason. I've been around a lot of people, a lot of groups, who were extremely talented and worked extremely hard, but then, for whatever reason, instead of the C word of curiosity, the C word of complacency stepped in. It's almost like, hey, I've learned enough. I've got this figured out. I'm good enough. We're good enough. Everyone's telling us we're wonderful. They're having banquets for us. They're doing all these things. So sometimes the complacency kind of sneaks in instead of the curiosity. On the other hand, I've been around some people who were extraordinary in what they did, teams that I've been around that were extraordinary, 10-0, 11-0, and so forth, but they always remained curious to figure out how they could get better. They always wanted to read more. They always wanted to listen more. They always would want to interact and learn from each other more. They always wanted to study it just a little bit more. It was interesting the other night talking to General Miller about what was going on with the strikes in Syria. And she sat there that night because that's when they were happening, and she said, we've got this down. I just came from Washington, D.C., she said. We've got it down to the point we know exactly, there won't be one human being in our range, that we know exactly what time, and we've told them what time it's going to strike, and we know exactly which chemical weapons that we're going to blow out, and we know because we've studied it so hard. Extraordinary people, extraordinary groups stay curious. The minute you lose your curiosity, your growth is going to stop. So number 3 is curiosity. Number 2 is grit. G-R-I-T. Real simple. But you know what's interesting? No matter how talented you are, no matter how well it's going, no matter how well your plans are just flowing into exactly what you'd hoped, what you'd dreamed of, things are just going so well, inevitably there's going to be moments when it doesn't. That's just the way it's going to happen. There's going to be moments where the plans get derailed, where mistakes are made, where unfortunate circumstances happen. Might not even be your fault. You might slip and fall. You might have studied the wrong thing on the Calc 3 exam in college or whatever. Adversity is going to happen. And as I've noticed, the people that really reach their potential are the ones that understand that it isn't all going to go the way we planned it all the time. But even when it doesn't, we're going to make sure that we continue to go. We're not going to let that adversity stop us. I've been around teams that worked extremely hard and were extremely talented and were very curious, but then all of a sudden, when that adversity struck, they couldn't handle it. And it affected their ability to progress. On the other hand, I've been around people who extremely hard work ethic, very curious about how to get better, very talented and so forth. And when adversity struck, it made them better. They learned amazing things from their adversity. They were not going to be stopped. And the neat thing about all of you is because of what you've demonstrated already, you're going to go and you're going to face some great opportunities, which will be great challenges. You're going to be mixing it up with the best of the best. And I promise you, one thing, there's not much good about getting old, young people. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Really, there's only two things that are good about getting old. One is your huddle gets bigger. I have 3,700 names in my phone because I'm old. I mean, it's just the way it is. But my huddle's big. The other good thing, when you get to a certain age, and I have now reached that age, you can predict the future. And I now can predict the future. What's your name? Logan. Would you like me to predict the future for you? Yep. I'm going to tell you right now. Your future, you ready? Don't get nervous. Your future is going to be a combination of things that you dreamed about and that you worked for, that you planned for, as well as some things that you didn't know were going to happen, that you maybe had hoped would never happen, that you never dreamed that would happen. It's going to be a combination. That much I know. It's not going to be all great, and it's not going to be all lousy. It's not going to be that way. The good news is, Logan, the person that has the most impact on that is you. And if you'll handle the ups and downs, if you'll handle the times of adversity, you're going to have a chance to reach your potential. So your number 2 is grit. Okay? You ready for your number 1? Because I'm almost to the end of my time. Okay, young man looking down right there. Yeah, what's your name? Mazen. Okay, Mazen, what do you think your number 1 should be? What's the most important trait? We talked about, boy, your hard work and that talent, those grades, that curiosity, that grit. What could be more important than that for your future? Mazen, they told me you got a 3.5. All right, I got to go back to my mainstay. Logan, what do you think the single most important trait might be that you're going to need if you really want to reach your potential? All right, I'm back to Mazen. No. So here's mine. And the way I came about it was this. One time I got a letter from a small college football coach in Indiana. He was at Wabash College, very good school. And he wrote a letter to every coach in America that had ever won a national championship. And he said, "Dear coach, would you write a letter to my team and tell them what you think is the single most important trait that allowed them to be the national champions, to reach their potential, to stand on the top of the mountain, to be the best they could be." And he wrote that letter to every coach in America, hoping to get letters back on their letterhead and show his team. And he put it at the bottom, "I know there's a lot of traits that your great teams had, but what I want you to write about is only one, the most important one." And I thought, wow, because he's right. I think back to, I was a head coach for 25 years, and 9 times in those 25 years, on the last game of the season, we were playing to be the national champions. So we had good teams. What made those, what was the one single most important thing that they had? And then it dawned on me. I thought back through those teams. I thought back through those individuals that impacted us tremendously so we could become those kinds of teams. And it dawned on me that, you know what the common denominator was of the really good ones, the really good individuals, and the really good groups? They were selfless. Get your phones out. selfless. selfless. You know, they just had a way about them that it wasn't about them individually, it was about the group. Think about our society. Just think if every one of us was selfless and none of us were selfish. Well, that's a tough duty there because humans, naturally, we are selfish. But the more selfless we can intentionally work hard at being, I maintain the more successful we'll be. And I would say the same thing for each of you individually. It is not easy to be selfless. Very difficult. In fact, the media and the bombarding of the subliminal messaging, so much is onto, you know, what is it that I want and I ought to want and I need and have my sights set on and so forth. We're constantly being bombarded trying to be convinced to be selfish for what I wanted. But really, if we can work extremely hard for what the group needs, what my family needs, what my community needs, what my state needs, what my world needs, if we could be more, think about any crime. I get the Boardman news, and I see it on the front page. It has all the things about the, you know, the different burglaries that happen. Well, if there was, everyone in the world was selfless, would there be any burglaries? The only reason there's a burglary is someone else has something and this person wants it. Would there be any assaults? Would there be the problem with our opioid crisis? The people involved in that, if they thought about their impact on others, whether it be their parents or their family or their friends and so forth, if we could be more selfless. And so I maintain for all of you, you've got the talent. You've demonstrated and you know how to work hard because you don't get a 3.5 at Boardman. You don't get a 3.5 at Valley Christian or Cardinal Mooney if you don't work. I mean, you have talent. You know how to work. My wish for you is that you'll remain curious. You never stop learning. That you'll handle the tough times because they're coming. Sorry to tell you, they're coming. But if you handle them, you'll be fine. But most importantly, if you'll be selfless, if we'll be selfless, if we demonstrate that selflessness to one another and make sure that we're caring for one another and appreciating and respecting and being aware of one another, if we'll do that, we'll be in good shape. And I think based upon the energy and the whatever it is about all of you, we've got a good chance if you'll be our leaders. We've got a good chance if you'll go on and reach your potential. So again, on behalf of our entire YSU family and everyone that lives in this valley, congratulations. God bless all of you, and go Penguins.
Thank you very much, President Tressel, and I just thanked him for going over his time. That was great. A selfless, gritty curiosity. That's it. That's terrific. Everybody have that in their phones? Everybody got it? Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, now we have another fun part of the evening, scholarship presentations. This year, the Boardman Civic Association will award seven $750 scholarships to the following 7 students. We ask you to come forward. As we call your name, President George Ferris will greet you. We ask you to remain standing up here for pictures. And we will start out with Braden Bison. Braden. Braden is from Cardinal Mooney High School, National Honor Society member, Interact Club, Academic Challenge, Speech and Debate, Robotics Club, and an Eagle Lacrosse recipient. His college major is pre-med. Congratulations. Our next student, Nadine Gabriel. From Boardman High School, a National Honor Society member, Key Club, Emerging Leaders Club, Science, French, and Photo Arts Club, Varsity Tennis and Track, and Symphony Orchestra. Her college major, Pre-Med Biology. Our next student, Cade Krebs. From Boardman High School, National Honor Society member, Link Crew leader, Italian Club, varsity basketball and golf, including a 3-time state qualifier in golf. College major, financial management. Next student, Jacqueline Lee. Boardman High School student, National Honor Society member, Science, Key, and Math Clubs, Emerging Leaders Honors Award. College major, Pre-Med. Next student, Alexandra Morar. Boardman High School, National Honor Society member, Senior Class Co-President, Key, Math, Chess, Science, and Spanish Clubs, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. College major, Political Science. Our next student, Logan Schnabel. Valley Christian High School, National Honor Society member, Student Council, varsity track, soccer, and football. Coach Tressel, she was a 4-year letterman in football at Valley Christian. College major, biology. And our final scholarship award to Molly Slater. Boardman High School, National Honor Society member, marching band, wind and jazz ensembles member, Link Crew, emerging leaders, Spanish and Science Clubs. College major, accounting. Let's give a warm round of applause to our 7 scholarship winners. Okay, congratulations. Thank you. You may take your seats. You 7 students will receive a letter from the Boardman Civic Association regarding how the scholarship works. We wish you good luck and congratulations. And afterwards, if those 7 students, after we adjourn, would come forward for pictures, and President Tressel, if you would stick around for pictures as well, we'd appreciate that. Very exciting for us. So thank yous tonight, of course, go out to the Holiday Inn, our scholarship sponsors in our brochure this evening. Our speaker, of course, President Tressel, to Meg Harris, Marty Bushy, Denise Leeson, Jeff Barone, George Ferris, Stephanie Landers, Karen McCallum, and Dan Segul for our assistance tonight. Of course, the students and their families for doing everything possible to be invited here this evening. We thank you for joining us to celebrate the academic achievement of our Boardman resident students. Congratulations to all our scholarship award winners. We've also heard examples of true community leadership and service from Kim Poma and our speaker, President Tressel. Thank you for showing us how to improve our community. Boardman has an amazing and diverse amount of opportunities in almost any area of life, including family activities, education, commerce, healthcare, recreation, community service, and faith. Let's continue to take advantage of these opportunities or try them for the first time and preserve Boardman's motto, a nice place to call home. We thank you for attending. God bless and good night.